everybody, we're here at Perdido River Farms in Atmore, Alabama, and we're going to be looking at their operation and how what they're doing is making a huge economic impact, not just in this community, but beyond. John, tell us a little bit about who you are and where we are today.
Thank you. My name is John English. I'm the general manager here for Perdido River Farms, which is the cattle operation for the Poarch Bender Creek Indians. I'm an Atmore native, born and raised not far from here, 2004 graduate in animal science from Auburn University. To go back, give you a little more history, when I graduated at Auburn with an animal science degree, I'm kind of a country boy, didn't want to get far from home. My grandparents, I was very close to them with family land and a family farm of 150 head of commercial cattle. I knew I didn't want to go far, but with my degree, I kind of had two options. Where I'm at today and working with the cattle operation with the state that's located just a few miles down the road. And then just the turn of events and how things played out, I was lucky to come back here and work for my tribe, because I'm a tribal member here as well. So yeah, just now I don't work no more. I come here and enjoy my days. Because I was talking with someone this morning, I said, I think I've earned my pay today. And it's like, you don't work. I said, you're right, because I love what I do.
Yeah, that makes a big difference. Makes a big difference.
Big difference.
When you love what you do. So tell us a little bit about the farm itself.
Yes, ma'am. The cattle operation here right now, we're running about 660 head of brood cows. Got about 65, 66 replacement heifers this year that we was able to keep. Along with, we're getting into a little something different. We've transitioned over the years, and I'm running a feedlot, a small feeder operation that we've gotten into. Things are really growing. We're excited about what's to come. I can be as busy as I want to be or busy as I need to be, but over the years, I've run across some good employees. And when you've got good employees with anything you do, or good people to work with, I don't like to refer to them as employees because we all work together. And working together with good people can make everybody look good, and they make me look good. So my job is to take care of them, they take care of me. It hasn't been easy. Every year has a different set of challenges. Last year and this year thus far, the weather. Last year between the weather, and we look at budgets, the price of fertilizer, the price of feed, that was eating me up. We get into the end of the year when I'm needing to plant winter grazing. Weather turns and it's not the best for me. We go from a drought to being super wet around here. It kind of put off when my grazing. I was able to get it planted where it was actually just now 2 weeks ago putting cattle on grazing. So that's just, it's been something every year that you got to learn to make a business decision on the fly, because whatever decision we make in this operation or this industry, it's affecting us a year to 2 years down the road.
For those that don't really know what a cattle operation looks like, so of course you raise the cattle and then it goes to a feeder lot. What does that mean exactly?
Okay, yeah, what we're doing is, like I said, it's a cow-calf operation. There's various different type of operations. We're a commercial, whereas we're raising from calves, we raise them up. We're weaning at a certain age. We go in and we'll wean cattle off. At that point, we'll grade, we'll sort. Ultimately, we're trying to get to where we're selling a truckload lot, a 50,000 pound truckload lot. We're able to, like I mentioned, we're keeping our own replacement heifers. Here at the operation, we have different seasons of the year. We're planting winter grazing, September, October of every year. We put up all of our hay during the summer. Just a typical farming operation.
Yeah, okay. So the hay, of course, is for feeding them.
Yes, ma'am.
And then, so when they move to the feedlot, what does that mean exactly?
Okay, yeah, when we get to the feedlot, we pull these calves off. We'll run them through a 90-day weaning process. From there, we'll either sell in a truckload lot, or we'll take these calves and we'll just put them out into another yard where they'll go on feed, free choice feed. At that point, we'll feed those out to a harvest weight of 1,150 to 1,500 pounds.
Okay, and so from there, it's sold to a processor?
Right now we're kind of have two different ways. We're able to do it with a custom. If we have people come in looking for custom calves, if they want to have one process on their own, we sell that way. We also have gotten into a little something different here. We're selling kind of beef right out the office here. That kind of dates back, I would say, 2018 through 2019, where we were feeding some calves out here. We had one person, we take the calf over there to the processor at the time. It was running about 80 miles to the nearest processor for us. And got over there, and the lady called me and said we had some little family issues come up, and I can't take the calf right now, so I didn't know what to do. So I talked with the lady at the processor, and she said, have you ever gave any thought to let us USDA inspect this calf, and you just sell in retail cuts? And it was new to me, but heck, why not? Let's try it. I just brought that calf in here. I tried to price it out the way I thought the calf or the meat was worth, what it was worth. And in doing that, got it out for sale, a little bit of talk, word of mouth, and we sold that meat in no time.
Okay. And what's the difference in a USDA inspected and a non-USDA inspected?
Good question. Non-USDA inspector, it's not if me or you want to take our calf that we grew at the house, we fed out, and we having it processed to take back me and you to eat, it's what we consider what's called custom cattle. If I want to, as a business, if I want to sell that beef, I've got to have it USDA inspected for retail.
Okay. So if it's, you're technically your own cow, so they would buy the cow from you and then you go get it processed, it's on you. But because you're selling the actual meat, it's got to be that stamp of USDA.
Correct. Whenever I sell that pack of ground beef or that ribeye as a retail cut out of here, it's got to have that USDA stamp on it.
So you've got some plans upcoming with doing a new processing plant down here in the area. So tell us about that process. How did it come to be, and how's it going to impact you all?
Wow, that has been a long, but I think I'm seeing a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel. A little bit unique in my position here. Working with the Poarch Boundary Creek Indians, I have to ultimately answer to a tribal council. And in that's a 9-member council that is elected by the tribal members here. When it comes into larger requisitions, then that has to be approved. And that's when I have to run it up to a supervisor over me that we go again. We put a plan together and we present to a tribal council.
I'm Keith Martin. I'm a tribal council member for the Poarch Creek Indians. I was elected in 2006. The meat processing plant had to be approved by the entire tribal council before it can move forward. One person can't do anything around here without at least 5 votes. Sometimes it takes a supermajority, and that needs 6 votes. John English, our manager, Auburn grad, he saw the need early. I think he was experiencing frustrations with trying to get our beef processed and selling it to the community. And that, again, that's open to the whole community. He was, 2 or 3 years asking about that, and we had other priorities at the time, but then COVID hit. And I walked into Walmart and there was no hamburger meat, and then I walked into Sam's Club because I knew they'd have it and there was no hamburger meat, and it kind of was one of those aha moments that, you know what, though he's an Auburn grad, he may know what he's talking about.
So in doing that, so you bring a plan together, you have an idea, you bring it to them, and they say, all right, well, you go back, do your homework, get me some numbers. So we got with, actually, and working with Alabama Cattlemen's Association, Erin Beasley, she was able to snag me some strategic plans from Georgia and Tennessee. And that kind of showed some numbers on kind of the need. You're looking at the number of producers in the area, looking at the number of cattle in the area, looking at kind of where other processors are at, whether it be just custom cattle processors or how many head these processors in the area or the region, I guess would be a better word, how many they're able to handle, and kind of then working with the contacts for the producers I knew that actually or that feed out cattle themselves.
My name is Erin Beasley, and I'm Executive Vice President for the Alabama Cattlemen's Association. I've worked here for 13 years and been in my current role for 7. And I've worked here since I finished at Auburn University in the College of Agriculture. I'm a graduate of the Animal Sciences Department in 2008. Our main job is we're a trade organization that represents the cattle industry for our state. Our membership is about 10,000 members across all 67 counties. And we work in the area of advocacy, so through governmental affairs and lobbying efforts, both at the state and national level. And then we also carry out promotion work to try to educate the public about beef products and hopefully entice them to buy more beef. We have a long-going relationship with the Poarch Band of Creek Indians through our relationship with the SLE Rodeo. They've been a longtime partner of ours, and so that really kind of started the conversation, I guess. We got introduced that they had a very large cow herd down there, and we're looking to do some different things. And over the course of time, they started chit-chatting with us a little bit about just small meat processing in general. You know, they were looking at producing more local products, and at the time, and what they're doing currently, you know, having to go outside of the state to get animals processed. And I think with maybe some things that they learned from other tribes across the country, and just with some of the conversation that's really geared up the last probably 4 or 5 years around small meat processing, it really, I guess, started the conversation, and they got a plan together that got them on the roadmap to building this plant, which is really going to be one of a kind for the state. I think it's going to really streamline and, you know, kind of integrate what they're doing. It's going to change a little bit of what they're doing currently with their cow herd, and give them a lot of opportunity, not only for the tribe themselves, but also for producers that are living in the area or close by to the Albemarle area.
Tell us a little bit more about your experience with working with Extension and how it really helped further this processing facility along.
I guess working with Extension, it's kind of helped in any farming operation, or this farming operation, in many different ways. Like I said, whenever I got ready, when I was needing help, I was able to call Ken up and say, hey, I've got this, and Ken, he knows kind of how it works here, and he's been around prior to me here at the Perdita River Farms. But when I called him up and said, look, I'm needing somebody to help me get some backup. You know what I work with as far as tribal council. They know that we have a farm. They want the farm to be successful, but that's pretty much what they know. So I'm needing to be able to sell my idea to what we want to do. And so that's when he was able to do that. But working with Extension has also helped me as far as forage testing, doing soil samples and recommendations on what needs to be done. Because like I said, before a calf or anything gets to a processor, you got to take care of it. You got to take care of your soils. You got to take care of your forages, and all of that goes together. And that's Extension has helped me a lot in that ways as well.
I'm Ken Kelly. I'm a regional farm and agribusiness agent with the Extension System. My role is to work with producers on the economic impact of their business, economic analysis, work with them on their farm plans and business plans, work with John and the guys here at Poarch a lot over the years in their cattle industry and their cattle business in general, and as they look down the road on this processing plant trying to fill this niche that's out there, we were able to come in and provide some resources to them, you know, some economic evaluations and some impact statements and stuff that to those guys could help them as they tried to plan and get the process going on this particular plant. One important thing we did as far as that was helpful to these guys on this particular project was our farm and agribusiness management team did an impact study on processing plants and the need for processing plants, which was funded by checkoff dollars through the Alabama checkoff, through the Alabama Cattlemen's Association. We were able to do a 6-month, year-long study where we looked at impact, we questioned producers, we talked to retailers, we talked to potential buyers, potential customers, and in the end we were able to come up with a really nice document that really kind of highlighted the potential for more processing and the need for more processing here in Alabama. And we were able to work with John and the guys here at Poarch by providing this information to them and then helping them fill their knowledge gaps that they had as they were looking for that type of information to start the planning process, to get approval, to get started, figuring inputs, figuring costs, figuring profit potential, looking at their customer base, looking at the base of how much cattle they would have to pull from here in the area, working with other producers in the area. So really where we were able to help them was on the initial analysis of the potential for a processing plant.
Working with Ken Kelly, Extension, he was able to help me. He got me some more stuff, working with the Alabama Cattlemen's Association, getting in feasibility studies that were done, anything I could help to kind of change their mind and see that, hey, what I'm wanting to do, it's worth looking into. So then we do that and like I said, working with my tribal council, got one convinced. Well, it's 9 of them. So in order to get any further than that, he and I started working closely together. We then went out, found us a consulting firm. They helped with another pro forma feasibility. Numbers come back, looked really well, looked like it was favorable, looked like the area here, we was in a very good spot. The different locations that we have around here. And so kind of had a couple more on board with it. And then set out and finally got it approved.
That's cool. Sounds like you've always got a vision and creativity going forward.
Yes, that's the way it works, because until you work with a tribe you will not understand, but it's what we call Indian time. And it's been something that I've had to learn because I've been so passionate about the facility and I'm ready to get something started. I'm ready to get shovels in the ground. But after learning and seeing what all goes into it and what it takes, I finally have learned some patience. It's hard at times, but I've got certain ones that I'm waiting. If I see his name for an email, I have to read it because we may be at the next step or we have to do something different. So, yeah, once we get that and I finally say, okay, we've got plans, I know we're going to get started on this, then that's when I'm looking at the next step, because we've got to be able to feed what we're building. So that's where now we're working, got some ideas, got some, not really plans down, but we've got some good ideas on what's next to come. And that's even better for me.
Oh, wow. Can't wait to see it all.
Me too.
So how big is the processing plant going to be? How much cattle are they going to be able to run through there?
Good question. In all the planning, the time spent working with blueprints, and I guess the uncertainty that some of the council may have had at the time, we kind of had to look and plan this thing where it was, if we did, I guess you'd say, if it did do well, if it was successful like we all wanted it to be, we didn't want to have to come back to the drawing board and say, okay, well, we're maxed out and we really got other avenues that we could be reaching. We got other markets we could be reaching. So we had to look at a plan, and we've done it in 4 different phases. Phase 1, phase 2, 3, and 4. Phase 1 would be a 50 head week. 2 was 125, and we'll get up to phase 4, be 250 head a week. What we didn't want to do is we get doing really successful, really moving, needing to meet different avenues or different markets. Didn't want to have to stop production. So the plan is if we get full capacity at phase 2, doing 125 head a week, we can then just kind of build around, bust a wall out, and never stop production. Add another shift of labor, and bam, we at 250 head a week, we're rocking and rolling. I guess a selling point for us, or something to look at when you're in the part of trying to get cattle ready for harvest or getting them to be processed, you've gotten that animal, you've gotten that calf to a certain weight, and it costs you money to get it to that point. When you get it to a certain weight of ready to be harvested at whatever weight that may be, then you want it to be where you got less stress, less travel time, whatever it may be. So that's where reason the importance of we see in these meat processing facilities, it helps out everybody, not just us, but the community. The processing plant we're shooting for, it's open to the public as well. It's not just for PRF cattle. So that's the advantages that we see that we can bring to the table. We can offer communities, producers all around, just to save on some travel time getting that calf, because like I said, you've worked so hard, and the money that it's cost you to get it there, that's valuable to you.
It will be, I believe, the largest plant in the state of Alabama. And for what they're going to be doing with federally inspected product, again, it's good for what they're trying to do with their own direct marketing. And they certainly have a lot of outlets to move beef products. But it will help a lot of producers that are right there in that region as well. We recently commissioned with the College of Agriculture a small meat processing study to look at the feasibility, to look for some of the areas of the state that maybe we need to work on getting some plant locations. And you know, it's no surprise that Southwest Alabama is one of those areas that just doesn't have a lot to offer in terms of federally inspected plants or even state inspected plants. And so this will certainly help in that area. The fact that it is going to be as large as it is, it really is going to fill a void. With the way that they have it designed, it will help those within the Poarch Banded Creek Indians, and then it will also help those that are around them, which I think is all the time a mission of the tribe. The times that I've been around them, they look certainly to help those that are in the community around them.
The economic impact from this processing plant or any other processing plant is multifold. It's not just what they're charging processors or what the person that's producing the calf. It's also the person selling feed. It's the person selling hay. It's the person that's breeding the calves and making the bulls that produce these type of calves. It's the consumer having a safe product that's actually usually a little cheaper or just as cheap as what you could buy in a grocery store. So the impact just spreads out all across our area. A lot of times we think it just impacts those that are selling or those that are getting processed, but it impacts so many other folks.
Yeah, I guess that's one of the fun things about the position here and the flexibility that I have in the community with the tribal kids. But right here at the office, we host every year the South District FFA Fall Eliminations. Host that, and we'll have 350, 400 kids here every year. That falls there in the fall. Or we also host the Escambia County Steer and Heifer Show. That's coming up here in just a week or two. Escambia County has really grown over the years as far as the calf show or the number of participants. There's about 55 steers that'll be shown in the county calf show here. And what we are able to do for the tribal kids, the kids that we've gotten into that didn't know anything about a calf or cow or anything, the tribe is able, or I'm able to Whenever we're pulling steers up, we're weaning calves. We pull off some calves and put over to the side. These kids are able to select and have their project. If the kids have a place at home, they can take the calf home. If not, we have facilities out here at the office, feed, water, anything they need, and we take care of that for the kids. This is our show calf barn for the tribal kids. That's where they're housed if the kids don't have a proper place to keep them at home.
Okay. They're responsible for feeding, cleaning the...
Yeah, they're responsible for the, we have equipment that they can clean the pens out, but they're responsible for feeding, checking the waters. Something's wrong, we'll obviously come take care of it for them, but they are responsible for cleaning out and feeding every day.
So how long do they typically, will the cows stay on the farm?
These calves here, after the show, like I said, we provide the tribal kids these calves. After the show, then they go back into my pen, and they'll be gone from here midsummer.
Oh, okay. So a cow doesn't stay on the farm that
No,
long.
ma'am.
Oh, okay.
That's what is really, over the years, once we got that started, has been really nice to watch and see kids growing that now, because we started this 9 years ago, and to watch some of the kids that coming up with, along with my son doing it, that you never thought had any interest in it, are still here 9 years later showing a calf, and that's been a really great thing. And to look at some of them, we've had one or two that's talked about going into agriculture, and that's what is even better.
Yeah, raising up that next generation.
Correct.
For students, I think it's a very exciting time to be in agriculture. We're seeing a lot of retirements in agriculture and all the technology. And it's not one of the things where you can just do one thing. There's a broad range of majors and careers that you can do, sort of depending on what you want to do. But just in the livestock area, raising cattle, you know, we have people that do agronomics, taking care of the crops and the fields and the hay and the grass. From the livestock perspective, we have animal science to help find better ways to raise them, work with the genetics, work with health standards. And then on the business side, and the ag econ side, we have looking at markets and what consumers want and how the best way is to get the product from the field to the plate.
Some of the classes that I took at Auburn many years ago that have really benefited me, took accounting classes, took basic economics, macro and microeconomics, and then farm management was one of the best classes that I ever took, where I learned so much about taking it from the world of the book, the world of academia, and bringing it out to the real world. And that's kind of what our job is to take academia and bring it out here and let it help these guys out here in the field, let it help the citizens out here. So there's certainly those base economic classes I took, but the beauty of a degree from Auburn or another land-grant university is you're going to get a broad base of knowledge. So I took animal science classes, I took econ classes, I took accounting classes, took all of those, and all of those helped build that base, and then experience in the real world taught me more afterwards, but certainly those give me the base, and I still draw on that base on a regular basis. When I'm talking to somebody about making a business plan, I'm back to taking macro and microeconomics 20 years ago. So the fundamentals don't change. You learn the fundamentals, then you learn how they relate to people, understanding situations like we do here with Poarch, understanding there's different situations, different scenarios, and we take those bases like I learned years ago and we apply it to individual situations. So that's what Extension does. That's what the university does. That's what we're about. It's helping people and taking that university base of knowledge and bringing it out here and making it applicable to producers and to citizens in the state of Alabama.